Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 9 of the world famous podcast, Proper Modulation, with your host, Kuri Manju. Woo-ha! I got you all in check. And a man whose ping pong game is a dominative force to experience, Cheapy D.
Only if I fall on you will you feel dominated. If I somehow trip over my own feet and just fall on you. It's not likely to happen if we're playing against each other, but if you're a spectator, that's likely. I don't think people are very intimidated by my table tennis skills. Although,
Are you serious?
Well, you heard about did you listen to the CADcast the other day about the VR table tennis?
I'm addicted to the CADcast. I also got to hear about your masturbatory schedule, and I was able to update my journal.
You're updating your journal with my schedule?
This is when I had a different time in a different way that you masturbate, but now I know you use VR to masturbate, which is like a special type of low, I gotta say. And also something you have in common with your best friend Jason from the Howard Stern Show.
That's right. He did talk about it. I did it for science. I did it to create content. I was also wanted to see, I was curious, of course, to see, like, I heard hype about it. I heard friends tell me that I should check it out, but I have friends that say a lot of things. So I ignore a lot of, depending on the person. I don't ignore what you say. If you say something's good, no. I'm not trying to, placate you. I'm telling you the truth. I have certain friends who, they're my friends, but
right.
They still say everything's good, or like, they tell me to buy everything, and it's not really a recommendation. It's more like, here's something that exists. You should get it because
I have it too, or I want it and I'm not going to get it. So please get it for me.
Right. So the VR masturbation thing was more like my friend told me to check it out, and this was a way that was free and easy, and also like I'm going to do it anyway. Like in some form, I might as well try the latest and the greatest. I mean, it wasn't, but potentially it will be. I feel it will be it's just a matter of time.
The experience or your ability to manipulate your body to complete.
That's not a pro. It's really the technical experience, because I was able to finish everything, and the mission was accomplished. But it's not.
Wait, hold on. I got a question for Richard Christie in the chat. That's just a joke. Was it ropes?
You can't see because you've got a thing on. The thing with my kid just finished school, like he's probably like just like at the door right now, or watching on Twitch, or even worse.
That's not your kid. That's Dyfus.
That's who?
Dyfus, the authorities who come to save children.
Oh. Anyway, the problem is you have a fucking helmet on your face, so obviously you're not going to see anything, and you have to be on the ready with the tissues, and obviously the odds of something going wrong when doing this go up exponentially if you're wearing a helmet on you and you can't see anything except some other screen, not the reality.
Oh man,
it's asking for trouble. But the main problem, really is, at least with the Oculus Quest 2. Yeah. That maybe it's just the resolution of the screen or the way that the videos were filmed. Going off of Pornhub and just going to the VR section is not like a premium experience.
You need to have like a Google Doc with like an itinerary of like links.
No, you don't. Why would you need that? Because you're on the web just like anything. It's just a browser. You're just using a browser. Okay. So it's just like any other porn experience that you would have. You're like, oh, I feel like babysitters today, and I'll type in babysitters.
Wait. No, let me give you a better subtitle. The real subtitle is, oh, I feel like trash and dirt. Let me manipulate myself and forget that I am alone doing this to myself.
No. Well,
who can I subjugate? Ooh, babysitter. Ooh, teacher.
It's one way. It's not affecting them at all. That's sunk cost on their end. They've already put that up, and whatever I do with that, it's not affecting them.
What's GameStop at? Well, now we're talking sunk costs.
No, we don't talk about GameStop stock anymore. But anyway, the point is, it's just the technology is not quite there yet, at least from what I've experienced. And I don't really know that I'm going to be going back to that unless it's just like to mix up the routine. Like clearly, like the experience is fine already just on a laptop or an iPad.
Right.
It's not getting improved exponentially. It's more making you a little nauseous, adding a little nausea to the mix, which maybe makes it more realistic depending on your personality. Maybe, you know, if you're nervous when you're having like a new sexual experience,
Right.
it does. I mean, it's more like everything's distorted and you feel nauseous. So I guess it's not really the same feeling.
I think I think it's like a Clockwork Orange kind of deal. It's great. It's gonna make you feel sick just at the end, just about the time you're about to like get to, okay, I can finish this. You're gonna get
Right.
sick to your stomach, and then you're gonna hate masturbating and
Okay.
become even more of a shut in.
Well, we have an update from Dr. Catface Meowmers in the chat. He's got this. He said a friend of his told him that the VR Pornhub is no good. You need to download the files because the streaming resolution is too low.
Dude, I'm old enough to remember when you used to like close your eyes and say, "Ooh, she's pretty." Yoink, yoink, zoink, spat 'em everywhere.
Right. Well, no, because you always had some sort of catalog, right?
In my head, it was in my head.
No, you couldn't get a
danced with this girl
catalog?
at prom. I mean, you know.
You couldn't get like some underwear catalog or something.
Oh, dude, like I'm taking. Oh yeah, underwear. Macy's was great. Victoria's Secret was great.
Right. So you weren't closing. I mean, you were closing your eyes and doing that, but you also had some form of media to.
Skinemax. Like if you took the dial and you turned it just right, the waves would kind of align.
I did
yeah,
that.
Exactly. I mean, who didn't manipulate the airwaves? I'm just saying. Listen, this is me. Okay. What do I know? I'm named after a chestnut dumpling. But I think when you're starting to download porn for your VR headset, I mean, it's going to a direction. It's going to a scary area. It's like Jerry
It's still
Seinfeld.
free, I think. I think it's still free.
So what? I'm saying it's getting like Jerry Seinfeld said, okay? He couldn't become like go into an orgy because he need like all new friends. He need to shave different. He got to get new clothes. He need like a mirror on the ceiling. And I'm saying downloading your VR porn is getting to that area. Like I downloaded Genshin Impact to play with my niece. It's like 8 gigs.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I'm that into this relationship with you.
That was a commitment for you.
That was a commitment. How big are these VR porn file? Anywhere you look is downloaded. That's a big file, no?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Jason was saying it took him 45 minutes set up, getting everything ready, and then 20 minutes of cleanup, including the Zoit and the knocked over thing from his
from his VR experience. Yeah. Mine wasn't like that involved. But yeah, I agree with that. Like one of the great things about porn today is that you don't have to download any files. I mean, that's
exactly. It's a different world.
One of the best parts about what we have right now is like instant gratification, and you don't have any. It's very easy to remove your footprint.
There is no footprint. I don't exist.
Well, maybe unless your wife has some like keystroke counter on your computer.
Can we please just go back for a second? I'm like imagining the conversation between you and Miss Cheapy. Cheapy, like about like, oh no, Mrs. Cheapy, I'm doing this for science. And if somebody like starts following you on Twitch in the next 5 minutes, I'll draw the cartoon Japanese version of this conversation between you and Mrs. Cheapy about how for science I must do this. What's that?
Oh, you mean if somebody subscribes?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I like to tell her those things. Like, why?
How did it go? Like, what does she? Like,
I just said, hey,
shake her head and move on, or
no? I mean, she was like sort of interested. And look, the reality is, and I think this speaks true for anybody who's married, especially for any significant amount of time. Mm-hmm. There's going to be times where you're horny and your wife is not. And you're going to maybe want to like try to pressure. Okay. Every time is like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Life.
But there'll be times when they're not interested, and they will be happy for you to go take care of it yourself. And you're doing everybody a favor, really.
You're keeping everything copacetic.
Right. So
you're respecting her lack of a need and attending to your increased level of need.
So in a way, I feel like I'm getting credit by saying, hey, like, I'm just taking care of it myself. I know you're busy, like you got an early meeting tomorrow, whatever. Like, I'm just going to take care of that, you know? And I think the situation actually was like, it was late and Mrs. Chibi was taking a shower and I knew.
Late morning, he means, guys. Late morning.
No. It was late at night and Mrs. Chibi was taking a shower and I knew she wasn't feeling that well. So usually like taking a shower is like but I knew like the odds were very low, were very, very low. And I said, you know what? I got a show to do. I got to, people are going to ask anyway. And I'd like to have answers for people when they ask questions. It's good to have answers. And it's natural. Everything's natural. It's nothing wrong. Right. And I did it. And I told Mrs. Chibi, and she was like, all right. And I told her the truth. I said, I didn't think it was that great. If it was really great, I don't know that I would have said how great it was. It's like when Howard watches a movie and it has the celebrity coming on. If he watches the movie and it sucks, he just says like, oh, he couldn't watch the movie, didn't have time to watch the movie, or he had a technical problem. Right, yeah. Like Coming to America too. But if you hear that, he loved the movie, you know that he actually really watched it and liked it.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if that analogy made any sense at all, but the point is we're all human and we all are beaten off, and there's good ways and bad ways, and the VR one is not quite there yet, I feel. That's all.
No. Here's a VR related question, because
yes.
I love this stuff. As we've discussed before, I was a believer since Back to the Future Part 2.
Okay.
I asked my brother about the hoverboards. He says in a couple of years. I was like, are they going to have that next year? He's like, a couple years.
Yeah, always. A couple of
And then the VR helmets, because I thought when he was ordering the pizza and everything,
right,
that was like the coolest thing in the world. Like, that's the life I wanted. So question for you.
Yes.
Part of what goes wrong when you have like these artificial or AI characters in film or VR scenarios specifically, there's a ratio, I forget what it's called, where they look...
The uncanny valley.
Yes, exactly. Does that occur in the thing, or are you stuck with like kind of like anime kind of?
Here's
what
the
do
thing.
they call that? Hentai kind of character.
Well, when you watch the porn, it's just video. It's just film.
Video. Okay.
It's real video. I'm sure they have animated ones too, but listen. If
As he burps into the microphone, he tells us how mature he is. I love it. Go ahead.
If there's one thing that I want to share with my audience is that I do not masturbate to cartoons. Okay, if you do, that's fine. But I'm just saying that's not my bag.
Everybody, I'm so sorry for getting us stuck on this. How are you all? We're taking calls this week as well. I mean, I know Stern is back, but I don't know. Aren't you interested in hearing how often he jerks off? So it was 7 times a week. What was it again?
No,
go ahead.
No. Listen, that's it. I'm going back to the laptop. But actually, probably Mrs. Chibi's on vacation now, so So anyway, I don't even know how to segue into anything after VR porn. Wait, can I?
Yes.
I've been selling actually a lot of these headsets by telling people how great they are. I'm not talking about the porn stuff. I'm talking about the games, specifically the table tennis game, but the other games that make you move your body. And to answer your question about the uncanny valley in games. The games are sort of different than what you would play on a console, because they're not looking for realism in terms of the environments or anything, because you have limitations with VR, especially one like mine where there's no computer attached to it. It's just all running off the headset. So it's usually the graphics are simpler, and you have to hit a really high frame rate in VR, otherwise it's garbage. So that requires additional processing power. So you're not going in there to play Call of Duty in VR. I mean, they have games like that, but you're not going to confuse the graphics.
Right. Okay.
It's a different ballpark. So like one of the games like the table tennis game, it's simple graphics, and it works great.
Right.
There's another game I got called Pistol Whip, where it's like DDR meets shooting people and John Wick. So there's music playing and you're trying to shoot people to the beat. And you're sort of moving out of the way of like pillars and stuff. And you get a really good workout, like moving around, like after one song, like you're sweaty, but the graphics are simple. It's like Matrixy style, like vector graphics, but the experience is still great. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I love this stuff, especially now that it's in the headset. That's like a big hurdle for a lot of people. All the cords around, and storage.
It's all about It's about that, but it's also about being able to just pick it up off your table and put it on, and you're playing a game in 5 seconds. Compared to like firing up a PlayStation, getting the cables going, or putting the earphones in. Like you don't have to do any of that. It's just bleh, bleh.
I love it. Well, can I tell you my secret plan for my VR headset?
Yes.
Did I tell you this already?
No.
I told you.
I don't think so.
I plan on, I don't know if you ever heard of this. This is a thing called Pipakura. It's like a 3D kind of origami kind of thing that people use to make cosplay or statues or
Okay.
different things. You might have seen one of my direwolf dragon heads from Game
I
of
did see it.
Thrones.
Yes, you showed that to me. It was very
Right.
impressive. Yes, I know what you're talking about. I didn't know what it was called, but it makes sense.
I know you love it when I speak different languages on this podcast. So
The nerdiest of languages. Let's get that perfectly clear.
according to Long Island, the nerdy of the language
Is Japanese. It's Japanese, but when talking about nerdy things in Japanese, that's the peak nerdiness in terms of language. That's just, you can't beat that. Go on. I'm sorry. There you go.
So
go on, Poindexter.
Thank you very much. I intend to take that VR headset and build on like either an Iron Man or Deadpool, or I mean, really you can go Master Chief, any kind of cosplay looking headset or helmet around it.
Okay.
So that when you're playing, if you're gonna look stupid, at least you look like you have like Deadpool's head on you. You know? When other
That's
people
your
look at-
thing? When you can't do that because it has sensors in it. You can't block the sensors. No.
Oh, that's what you said, something about playing outside or something?
Yeah, like in
What was
direct,
that?
yeah, in the direct sunlight, it didn't do too well. Like it loses the tracking. Even if it's cloudy, it seemed to be. Like I think I have to play after 4 o'clock. It depends on the sun's position. It's not necessarily if it's cloudy or not. But I'm not. I've only tried it twice. But I do prefer to play. A lot of these games they require you to move around, and if you're wearing sneakers, it's better. And I can't wear sneakers in here. So
Right, I see what you're saying. You know what? It's modeled after that first one that I played at your place with Resident Evil. That's that one. And
Right.
that one that made me sick to my stomach, and I had a stomach ache all the way home.
yeah, that'll happen. But it doesn't happen with this one. It doesn't happen.
Stomach ache.
Doesn't happen with this Oculus Quest 2.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's pretty cool, man. I think they should jump on the train. Obviously, you're talking about it more than anybody else in the world because I want to get one.
Yeah. I mean, especially like if you're having trouble finding the motivation to get a little exercise in throughout your day, like you can really put it on for like 10 minutes and get a good sweat going. I mean, and then do that throughout the day. You'll be kind of smelly. Like I've noticed that like I'm smellier than ever now. Like I'm in peak smelly because like during this whole quarantine is like, are you showering every day? Like, come on.
Yeah.
You do every day?
Yeah. I like to I shower usually in the afternoon.
All
I
right.
like to do it in the morning back in the normal world, but I exercise. Man, I'm treating it. You haven't seen The Wire, so this will mean nothing to you, but to the rest of the planet that's seen The Wire.
Yes, I know I'm a loser.
Lockdown is like prison, man, okay? In my mind. And in The Wire, they educated you, okay? Avon Barksdale says, the great Avon Barksdale says, you know, when you go into jail, you only got to do but those 2 days. The day you go in and the day you come out. The rest of the time, it's your time. Okay. So you adjust to confinement and then it's your time. And then you adjust to leaving confinement and then it's your time. Because I'm locked down here. I live in a city. I can't really move around. So I change my day schedule. So a shower, I love taking it. It's like my time. Relax.
Sure.
Nobody bothers me. You know, because when you're living and you can't leave, you're kind of not alone that ever.
Right.
Someone's always there in an apartment, you know?
Yeah, we do the showers at night
Is
now
that weird?
mostly. No, we actually do like Mrs. Chibi's taking her showers at like 11 o'clock at night now.
It's nice. I like it because I don't have to worry about getting covered, you know, going out and like going into getting covered with soot and all that stuff from the subways. And oh, right. This is a podcast. Hey, everybody. So you're not showering.
No.
That
I
you're jerking off
look,
more and you're showering less.
I'm extra. Well, it's just like I obviously shower when I go to Orange Theory, so that's twice a week. Those 2 showers right there. Okay.
We're down to counting.
I play ping pong on Thursday. That's a shower on Thursday, guaranteed. Okay. So those are 3 guaranteed showers right there. And there's 7 days in the week, and that's pretty good right there. Like if you're not doing that much, I mean, and you don't have hair.
See, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Well, you don't have hair. Oh, come on, you don't have hair. That's not
It's
real.
enough hair to notice that you should wash it.
Oh, it starts to smell. Okay.
Well, you don't have a choice. When you have facial hair, it's the same idea. Facial hair, and a beard.
Yeah, it gets bad under there.
Well, and it's from this last year. I only started growing it because I didn't have to go out and see clients face to face.
Right. Right,
So
right,
that's
right.
why I'm like, you know what? When you have hair, what really sucks, you got to wash that stuff. You can't just leave it. It's not like a bald head. It's no whoop, 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 whoop.
People don't realize the upside of having a bald head is that
It's
you don't
fantastic.
really need to look in the mirror. Like,
Right.
be like, I shaved. Like, I know I shaved a couple of days ago. I know what it's going to look like, unless like, I bumped into something and I have a cut on my head or
Right.
something. It's going to look the same. It's just time.
Like a pimple once every like decade
Right.
in the wrong spot.
Not
Aside
me.
from that, you're good.
Once every week, I have a pimple in the wrong spot. Anyway, I want to talk about this. I want to move on and talk about this narcissism test.
Oh, fucking A.
Did you take it?
I took the test.
Okay, good.
I took the test.
So
And-
I forgot I don't even know how I found this, but we were talking about, there's a famous bit from the Stern Show where they gave the whole staff, Dr. Drew actually gave the whole staff this narcissism test. He was
Which
right.
really, honestly, now you're like really questioning that whole test because it was Dr. Drew,
No,
coronavirus
well,
is fake.
yeah,
Dr.
a little
Drew.
bit, yeah, a little bit. But for the purposes of this show and this bit, we're gonna ignore that Dr. Drew is like canceled now.
Yeah, I
But
didn't cancel him yet.
At the
I'm gonna make fun of
time,
his ass until he decides to retire.
right? At the time that he made this test, he was very respectable, and he went on this. He was writing a book actually about celebrities and narcissism,
Right,
and
yeah.
he got a whole bunch of celebrities to take this very test. And then he wrote about it in his book. And on part of his journey, he went on the Howard Stern Show and he gave the test to the main staff members on the Stern Show.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, Robin Quivers got the highest score out of anybody that he ever tested with a 34 out of 40. And it was really one of the best bits ever.
Yeah,
It was just amazing, like hearing a narcissist tell you that she's not a narcissist. You can't beat it. Anyway, I never took the test until this week. I don't even know what made me think of it, but I figured it would be fun if we both took the test. I made Mrs. Cheapy take the test, and you can take the test in the chat right now if you just type in !test. You get the link for that. Anyway, I want to hear what your score is.
Okay, full disclosure, I took the test twice.
You can't do it. You already ruined it. What'd you get the first time?
I'm giving you the first thing.
Okay.
But I'm giving that disclosure because I do feel like on a couple of answers, I didn't answer my impulse. I think I pondered too much.
Right. You're not supposed to think about it too much. You're supposed to go down the list because that's part of the test is how you interpret the question. I understand from reading it, at least.
But I'll give the worst of scores, which was the first one. And I got a 15.
But that's a normal score. That's a normal score.
I don't even know.
No, that's normal. That's a baseline score. That's not that's the normal score. That's a very normal score.
I told you to resend it to me.
No, yeah, you thought that was too high?
I was like, shit.
You didn't even look
I
up?
hate people.
What's that? You thought what?
I said, holy shit, no wonder I hate people.
No,
I'm a
but that's
narcissist.
right. No, you're not. That's not at all. I think that was really normal. I got a really low score, which is probably like abnormally low. I got a 4. And
Oh, no.
and
I
Mrs.
thought that was
Cheapy
a
got
good score.
Well, it's not a good score. It's probably a bad score
Oh, right.
because it's below. And Mrs. Cheapy got a 5, which is probably why we get along. It's all about how you interpret the question. Like one of the questions was like, do you feel that you're like, so I forget, but it was something.
Give it a couple seconds just in case they're going to take it. But give a general aspect of the test.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It was, like, I find myself superior to other people or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, it was basically one of those questions where they both sound like you're saying the same thing, and one is kind of an emphasis on you, and the other is an emphasis on others.
Here's a perfect one.
Yeah.
I am more capable. You have to choose one or the other. So here's one. I am more capable than other people, or there is a lot that I can learn from other people.
Right.
Now, I may feel that I am more capable than other people, but that's so general. That's like such a general thing. Like I really more feel like people are just sort of less capable, more than that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't feel like I'm superior to people. I just feel like people are stupid.
Yeah,
that's how I looked at every question here, pretty much.
Mine is like I'm superior, but it doesn't mean no good, and you all are stupid.
Right.
Just kidding.
I'm looking in the chat to see if anybody's posting their scores.
What did so Robin got a 30. What did
34. Howard got a 14, I think. Howard got a 14 or a 15.
And Robin would say it's because he was answering everything the right way. Because he goes to therapy every day or whatever they say it is. Who knows if it's real,
Right.
But he says he goes to a lot of analysis, and that he just knew what answers are the appropriate ones, the ones to take.
Right. Hi Ed in the chat got a 5.
Okay.
It's all about how I think as long as you don't get like into like I don't know what's considered super high. It's probably like 25 and up is my guess. I feel like it's just it describes your personality sort of, and how your personality is, what it's based in. It really pushes the score. So like I find like I'm pretty modest about things, so that like as a modest person, it's hard to be narcissistic, and you're going to get like a pretty low score. Anyway, it's fun. You should take it. If you're in the chat, you can get that link there and take it on your own time. Did you go back and watch Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League again? Because you did, because we're going to watch it this week because everybody's on break.
So you're actually going to watch it. What got you over the edge? Because I was seeing you guys talk about it on Wednesday on the CatCast.
Yeah.
And I felt that you were still being pushed away for the wrong reasons.
Listen, here's what I did. I told my family the facts. I said, Look, here's the deal. It's 4 hours, okay?
Right.
Okay, wait a minute. I didn't tell them all the facts. I told them that it was 4 hours, and I told them that they actually divide it into parts, so you know when to turn it off and go to bed for the night, so you don't have to watch it all at once. I might have left out the fact that it's 4:3 ratio. I felt like they didn't need to know that at that very moment.
Right.
However, once that comes on, Mrs. Chiefy is probably not going to be too happy. But we'll see how it goes. I don't want to be presumptuous and think that she's going to, be a sidebar snob, but we'll see. So we're going to give it a shot. How many did you just watch it one more time, or you just watch like little pieces?
I never got a chance to watch it straight through, man. I tried. I gave it the college effort. I tried. I want to say Saturday and Sunday. I tried, and then I just gave up, because if you don't get that started by midday, I just got too many boxes to check during the day. Otherwise, you're cutting out of that, and you're not going to be happy for sitting down for 4 hours, And the whole idea is to enjoy it, not to feel like I'm a slave to this film and must watch it for posterity's sake. You know what I mean? It's just a great idea, great movie. So I broke it up. I revisited a few parts. I rewatched as well for the black and white, the monochrome Justice's Gray version, which dropped on Thursday. Phenomenal.
It's the same thing, but in black and white.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you, Mister. I went to film school. Okay,
I didn't go to film school.
You took a film class, you said. Or
Wombat is the one that talks about how he studied film in college. I'm the one who just says, like, my film professor got famous later in the art world. That's all.
All right. So the monochrome Justice's Gray version brings a lot more definition and tone to every scene. Definition in that when you're watching Wonder Woman fight, you're not seeing a blur. You're seeing her arms move in that opening scene. I actually was going to tweet out the clip that I was thinking about, because it articulates it beautifully, and I got lazy. I got work in the way. But you can see her quick, fast movements when she's blocking all of those bullets in the museum scene in the beginning of the film.
So it's not just the black and white. It's they took off some blur effects or something?
It's the same thing. But the reason why people describe bright colors in terms of volume, is because it becomes too loud for you to get all of the definition of what's going on the screen. Your senses get overloaded with color, and you perceive it as being loud and overwhelming. So when they take all of that color out, you can focus on her moving and blocking the bullets.
I'm highly skeptical about all of this. I'm highly skeptical.
Because you're the person who went to a film school thinking that there's no other aspect ratio for films. And once they change that, I cannot watch the film, because there's nothing beyond the film than the aspect ratio or the runtime of the actual film. Why would I think that you wanted an actual deeper experience than watching explosions?
Wait, making it something cleavage. Black and white makes it deeper? Is that the definition of deep?
Have you seen other black and white films?
Yes.
What? Tell me one.
Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
And how ridiculous would that film and unwatchable would that film have been if it were in color? Okay, it would look
It
like
would
you're
be
watching
fine.
Groucho Marx. It
Well,
would
but
not be nearly as impactful because you look at it like it's a parody and supposed to be serious.
No.
But it's not serious. It's
No.
ridiculous.
No.
Yes. Yes.
It came out in
Yes.
the 60s.
Yes.
That's why it would look weird. Maybe the color would be weird, but I think like if they made that movie today in color, it would be fine.
I cannot wait for you to get ratioed and double checked as how wrong your statement
Really?
is by the film world who attentively is listening to this, because we are the end all be all. And I got some thoughts on Falcon and the Winter Soldier too, and the loan situation, but we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. But about the Justice League, yeah, I watched it again, and I have to say, I don't know if you like Sin City. Maybe you didn't like Sin
I
City.
love Sin City.
I
The
thought
first
that
one,
Sin-
anyway. I love that movie.
Or Kill Bill, when Kill Bill goes black and white. Do you
I don't have
remember
a problem with black and white. I'm just questioning, like, if taking a color movie that was made in 2021 and turning it
IMAX.
and turning it into black and white does anything except make a color movie black and white. That's all I'm saying.
It makes it black and white, but it gives scenes more
Okay.
richness, and it gives it more, because what it does at the same time, it says, take this very seriously, it's stoic, and at the same time says, this can't be real, it's not color. So it allows you to immerse yourself in whatever world that we're watching a little bit more deeply. But listen, be a hater.
Listen,
This
I
is
like
what
your
I love from the comment section. This is what I love from the haters. All right, let me tell you something.
I like that poetic explanation. Maybe you sold me on that, actually. That was pretty well spoken.
Okay, just don't go to Wikipedia.
Why?
All right.
You stole that off of Wikipedia? You motherfucker.
I'm just kidding.
No.
But listen. Yes, great film. I have a lot. Listen, I got a lot. I don't know if we.
I'm gonna
let's
watch.
you
How
watch
about
it.
this? We'll watch it and we'll talk about it next week.
Or we could do like a 45-minute separate episode, maybe, just to focus on the film, play back a couple of clips, do some analysis.
Maybe. I could figure out a multimedia presentation. You mean?
Yeah.
Okay. People listening to the audio version can't hear you dancing, but
They can feel the groove, baby. They can feel the groove.
maybe.
You know.
Let's talk about some other stuff that we were watching.
What are we watching?
That I want to see if I can get you to watch, so then we can talk about it later. So we started watching. You know that Mrs. Cheapy and I like these crime docs.
Yes.
And series. We started. This one came out last year, but we started watching the Jeffrey Epstein one that's on Netflix.
I did. Which one? Which
It's
one
called
is that one?
it's called Filthy Rich.
I haven't seen that one. I don't think.
It's only, I want to say 4 1-hour episodes or 3 or 4. I don't think it's any more than that. We only watched the first episode. I have to say, somehow I managed to avoid really knowing what Jeffrey Epstein was up to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just turned the page or scrolled by it, and like I know he was doing stuff with underage girls.
Right.
And I didn't really feel like investigating further once I heard that.
Right.
But we like watching these crime things. This one's supposed to be good, so we watched it, and it's really well done and pretty depressing from just the first episode. So I feel like it's gonna go. We haven't even like got to the island yet or anything.
Ooh.
We're still like in Palm Beach right now.
Yeah.
And it's
the whole
pretty
system, right?
well, I mean, right now, like the police are investigating and like they seem to be doing like a really good job so far. So I know that like there's some like deal that gets cut that's really like.
Oh, so you're like in the 90s, late 90s, mid 90s, Palm Beach, then deal cut about massaging.
Yes,
teen
massaging.
Prostitution. So
Massaging.
you're at that level.
Correct.
So it gets trippy. It gets even, because I was in that story. I might watch that because I followed that. It started before the apocalypse. I was following that on the New Yorker Radio Hour.
Okay.
I think I listened to that podcast, and they were doing a deep dive interviewing the reporters who broke the story. And just listen, and they finally were able to interview one of the victims who she and her sister date all the way back to that time that you're describing.
Yeah, they have a lot of interviews with the victims here.
And it's just
it's pretty hard to watch.
It's pretty hard,
but we're still gonna watch it.
And it feels also like you need to, because look what was happening kind of almost in everybody's face, because I know what you're saying. You're saying, like, just now, you're saying about how you kind of had the feeling he was up to something allegedly over that time period. It was kind of the general understanding that the guy was sleazy,
That's what
but
people said. Yeah, his
right, but there
neighbors
wasn't.
knew.
His neighbor said what?
His neighbors knew that he was having like these parties with a lot of young-looking girls. I mean, it's
Right.
they're all people. They still have neighbors even in Palm Beach.
Exactly, and I mean, just weird things like that happening, but at the same time, we were just overloaded with sleazy people in prominent positions, in visible positions that you
Yeah.
kind of just you get overloaded, So I'm gonna watch that because the story felt like I need to be aware. I can't look what happens when we don't pay attention.
Sure.
Children are harmed, Not
And
to get too deep.
and we like crime shows,
Right.
and this is definitely a crime show. Another
Awesome.
crime show that we talked about on the CADcast
Yeah.
that I would really recommend for you to watch is Operation Varsity Blues on Netflix. That's the one about the college admission scandal with all the wealthy people and the.
Okay.
You should definitely watch that. It's actually it's like half documentary and half dramatization, starring Matthew Modine as the guy, Rick Singer.
Okay.
And he's really good. And the cool thing about it, like the really thing that makes this really special, is that because they had so much audio of the guy, of Rick, and also all of his customers, because you'll see what happens in the movie, but for some reason they have so much audio that the movie itself, they just used the transcripts. So everything that Matthew Modine is saying is just like off of a recorded phone call, because he's basically on the phone the whole movie.
Right.
So it's really well done. It's just a regular straight up movie. I think it's 90 minutes. It's called Operation Varsity Blues, and it's on Netflix, and it's a really good one.
Do I get my OJ in that one?
OJ is not in there.
No,
Why would
Olivia Jade?
Why would OJ? Oh, Olivia Jade. Olivia Jade. Sorry. Yes, Olivia Jade is. So I was like, well, I was just gonna say, why would OJ be in there? Yes, Olivia Jade is in there, and you feel. I mean, you don't feel bad for any of the people who committed these crimes, but you feel like it's very strange how this girl Olivia Jade was a huge Instagram influencer making millions of dollars a year. Didn't want to go to high school. She wanted to drop out of high school. Forget about going to college, but her parents not only made her go to college, but made her cheat to get into a specific college.
Right.
And she had no interest in going, like, at all.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting window into American life. We all kind of knew this stuff went on. And again, sort of like the Epstein thing, we kind of just said, oh, well, that's the way it is.
Well, that's the whole thing with this, is that like the rich people are saying, oh, that's the way it is. Like, we have to do this, give you this. That's how people get into college. That's how people like us get into college now, get our kids into college. Because that's the theme throughout the movie, is that the guy is saying, yeah, this is how it's done now. You do it. You either give me the money or you have to buy a building. You have to spend like $10 million, and then you're not guaranteed to get in, but you give me the money, I guarantee it.
Right.
And the whole, and you have the transcripts. All the dialogue is transcripts. So the customers are like, oh, so that's how it's done, I guess, these days. And even they're like, this feels weird, but you're telling me that's how it's done, so I guess I'll trust you.
I guess I'll bribe you.
Right. Well, not bribe you. They're making a donation to like a foundation. It's so
Do you
bad.
feel that way when the guy on the subway platform walks up to you? Well, you're taller, so some tactics that the taller guys that are more thuggish than just out of luck will do when they're panhandling is they'll come like imposing and be like, "You want to make a donation?"
I've never had that happen.
Because you're taller.
Yeah.
You got like 3 feet on me, but normal height people like me,
they have that.
You're like a frost giant,
Right?
But and I usually put on the crazy eyes. I'm like, no, I don't want to give a donation, and then just move on. But
no.
yeah. Well, at the same time, you still know you're giving money to a panhandler. I'm sorry, I ain't buying it. They were just saying what they needed to say to themselves to get over breaking the law. That's what they said.
Right. Yes. That's exactly what they were doing. They knew it's very clear what almost all of them knew what they were doing was wrong.
Right.
But they just figured we're not going to get caught. I mean, they say it,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah.
say like, we're not going to get caught, right? Like you've never had a problem, right? This like, and what and someone even asked like, well, what happens if this gets out in the open? Like, it's not going to be good. Like, yeah. And yet you did it and it happened. And you're right. It was not good. It was not good. It was actually like one of the largest, usually like in operations like this, they don't arrest the clients.
Right.
But this was like one of the biggest operations of this size for any type of illicit business where they're arresting the clients and the clients are going to jail
and
multi-state. Yep, it was crazy.
And crazy numbers of money.
Yep.
It's weird. It's like I don't know. That's always. I mean, I grew up in a very wealthy town. Family was kind of struggling, and we did our best to hide it. And a lot of kids went to great schools that I didn't think had the academic ability to do so.
Right.
But it wasn't like this. We weren't creating, Russian style counter information social media lives that don't exist. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Like an undercover dossier.
They didn't even
submission to college.
They would have the parents take pictures of their kid. Like they would say, like, "Oh, I'm going to make your kid on the water polo team. Get in the pool, but get one of those hats. Get get the hat and just have him go in the pool." And they're like, "What?" And then they would just Photoshop like the kid, the other people around him or something. It's
like my LinkedIn.
Is that what your LinkedIn is?
You'll see me at the UN.
Microsoft.
You'll see me giving
Bill
speeches
Gates
at like nonprofit galas.
You and Bill Gates, like.
I am not. No, Geithner. I have that with Geithner at an event I did.
Oh wow!
It's all just cut my face out.
It's good. That worked. That's not sketchy at all.
Not at all.
Speaking of sketchy, I watched another documentary that I think you should also watch.
This sketchy.
And there's it made me think of. It came back into my mind later in the week when I heard a Howard Stern phony phone call. This movie, this series actually is called Into the Storm, and it's about QAnon. It's on HBO.
I've been watching that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
See, this is great because
I go back to Nishan days.
I see. This is great because, like, whenever I say on the CADcast about these shows, they never have watched it, but you've watched it.
I got to prepare. That's what I tell my.
And Mrs. Chibi had been following the Japanese connection to QAnon recently, and she's like, "This would make a great movie. How come no one is even talking about this?" And then the series comes out, and the first minute of the movie is in Japan. Like that's how it starts. And Mrs. Chibi's like, "This is awesome."
Yeah, I was doing the same thing because I was like, makes sense to me. I mean, that's where. I mean, you can't find. You go ahead. Give the synopsis.
So, well, it's just about QAnon. And the guy, I mean, they're making a movie where they're trying to figure out who's behind QAnon. Who's Q, rather. Who is Q? Right. And they're basically doing an investigation, and they're interviewing all the main players, the guy who runs the servers and all this stuff. And I think there's only 2 episodes right now, and the second episode ends with them teasing like that they figured it out almost, right? Like, or a strong clue that they've figured out who Q is, and you have to wait. I don't know, Sunday? I don't know when the new episodes come out.
Yeah, I think it might be a Sunday kind of HBO Max, right?
HBO Max, yeah.
Yeah, HBO Max likes to drop on Sundays. I thought that was riveting, man, because I was looking over here. I have this book that I'll text you a picture, or maybe I'll tweet out the thing of it. It's called A Guru is Born. It's a book written by Beat Takeshi. He's a Japanese comedian and filmmaker. He's been in a million things. Zatoichi is a more recent film that was phenomenal about a blind samurai running. Oh, wow. Okay. See, that's why I knew we'd get along. Or some people who like watching Takeshi's Castle or one of those game shows where the contestants run around and they get gigantic balls thrown at them to knock them in pools of water.
Yeah,
or
people know
what
that.
have you. He is the originator of that genre and that show from like 35 years ago as a comedian. So he's like a Japanese Quentin Tarantino for people who are unfamiliar.
Right.
And he wrote a book about this and the cults and
did he?
And this kind of thing. Mrs. Kurimanju, she told me about it many years ago.
Oh, it's before QAnon though, so he doesn't have anything about.
But it's why it goes back for Japanese people. It's a longer kind of phenomenon. It's a phenomenon in America as well, cute cult followings, but not conspiracy theory based online cult
Right.
followings, or no bounds databases. Like the originator of all of where this QAnon world happens is on these online databases. The 8chan is, I think, the most recent one, correct? There's 4chan. There's the one I
Echan.
was familiar with is Nichan, which is like 2
That's the first one. That was the
is the
originator.
first one.
You learn
That was
about all this
all of
from
this.
the series, which is great because like I didn't really I've always heard about 4chan and shit, but I know it's like probably not my cup of tea, so I never really investigated it, but at least you can learn the history about it and it's pretty interesting, especially when you combine it with all this crazy QAnon shit. But the part that I found like was also interesting was that they interview, QAnon followers. They went to like some family's house and they're all wearing the QAnon shirts and all this stuff.
Oh man.
And it's, and it's
but followers, wait, just to give it, because we're talking international. QAnon followers in the U.S., like, either upstate New York or Pennsylvania.
Florida, I believe it was Florida.
Yeah, these are Florida, but they have New York, like for people from New York that moved to Florida or something.
And you see, it's just like, it's people who are not that smart. Like, they're not bad people, I'm sure. They're just people that not that smart that decided that they were going to do internet research and that they were qualified to like figure things out on their own. And they came together as a community, and that's what they do. That's what QAnon is just like taking nonsense and like making a theory out of it, a conspiracy theory out of it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So here's the stern tie-in. They played a clip on Howard 101 this week. It was from 1999. I said it was a phony phone call. I was wrong. It was not a phony phone call. It was a woman calls in 1999, and she's 20 years old, and she's not the brightest bulb. And she asks Howard, she said she just saw Blair Witch Project, and she wanted to know if that was like, is that just a made-up movie or is it real?
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
I don't remember it, not in super detail, but I remember hearing it back then and thinking like, how stupid is this
Right.
person? Like, man, I should have made Blair Witch Project. Damn it.
And Howard talks to the woman and basically says like, oh, of course it's real.
Right.
Like, it's not just like, and he can, and the woman's like, I thought so because I've been doing research on the internet and I feel like it's real. And I'm like, it's the same people. It's just 22 years later.
Yeah.
And then he goes on later in the call. Do you remember what happens later?
No.
He basically puts the call on hold for a second, so she can't hear him, but Robin can.
Himself. Right.
Yeah, and the audience can hear. And he's like, I think I could sell this woman the Brooklyn Bridge right now. I'm pretty sure I could sell her the Brooklyn Bridge. Should I sell her the Brooklyn Bridge? And Robin's like, yeah. He puts it back on hold. I got to tell you about this opportunity that I had. I think it could really work out well for you. Like, you know how they collect tolls at the bridge? What if I told you that there's a way that you could get like a percentage of that? And he goes on to sell her the Brooklyn Bridge.
Through affiliate links and subscriptions on Twitch Prime.
We
love it when you subscribe with your
She's
Amazon.
ready to send him a check. She's ready to send him a check every month to buy the Brooklyn Bridge.
Like immediately without thinking about it. And the thing is, here's the deal. Like the QAnon thing, it is basically if you build it, they will come on the internet. Because QAnon is really a post that made up rules for the way the post was created. So now people take those rules and they look for it everywhere. And so it's like, it's complete, it's Inception. It's like the film Inception.
Nonsense.
Are you familiar with the film Inception?
Of course. It's more nonsense than that because it's like this guy Q posts a bunch of like sentences that have nothing to do with each other, just random shit. And then
if the sun comes out tomorrow, that means we're together. Right.
Something like that. It's like the guy from the Nexium cult when the shit that he would say made no sense when you look at it. But then all the followers, they get together online and they figure out what it means, or AKA ascribe meaning to nonsense. And that's it. That's the whole thing.
It's just like this online cult.
Just like the woman with the Blair Witch Project. And Howard's like, they have footage of the Blair Witch that they couldn't even put in the movie because the government the government didn't want to freak everybody out. So they said, no, you can't show. They had 20 minutes of footage of the Blair Witch. They couldn't put it in the movie. And the woman starts to doubt him because it's so ridiculous. She's like, is this real? He's like, I'm not messing with you. And she's like, okay. That's what it takes. Just tell somebody they're not messing with them. And I'm like, this is the same thing as QAnon. It's just now, back in 20 years ago, we could get like information and do our own research online, but you couldn't, there wasn't that collaboration really. It wasn't quite there. Like the super duper real time with the big reach and spread that social media can provide today.
It was only you and me and people like us on AOL Instant Messenger or
a message board, like eventually. But even still, you're confined to that when you're part of something much bigger. That didn't exist back then. It just makes all the difference now.
Well, the bar of entry is lowered. You don't have to be an expert in communications or computers to be able to connect to random people randomly around the world.
Right.
You used to have to know your stuff to keep your volume down, or don't use a speaker when you call in through the Discord chat service.
Or if I'm going to really date myself, you had to know the phone number to call to set your modem. And then when those tones start coming, then you throw the switch and then you're connected. And then you downloaded those pirated games.
Hey now.
Pirates Cove, baby, for life. That's where I was at.
Dude, I still have visions of, this is off topic, but it takes me back to those days where I'm imagining you were pirating codes, or before, maybe you were doing that, you're making a joke, but
no, I was downloading. There was a game, there was a BBS called Pirates Cove, and it was in Nassau County, 516 phone number. You could only do the places that were local because you're making a phone call, and you're downloading something that's probably going to take you like a while to download,
a couple of days.
So you're only calling local. Like you can't go like, oh, Connecticut, that's a little much.
Right.
So if it wasn't in the 516, like I wasn't, but they were Pirates Cove 516, and they had games you could download them. Cracked games, cracked wares is what they called them. Cracked wares.
I just remember when you this video of you trying to cool down an Xbox or something, or how you cool down I don't remember, something from overheating, and you're just deadpan about it. The
YouTube video?
Yeah.
That video has 2.5 million views. Somebody pointed that out the other day to me.
I was like, well, let me check this out. Maybe I'll understand what the hype is, because I really don't get it about this guy. I mean, he's annoying. His jokes are
The
boring.
hype was that everybody's Xbox was breaking, and they were like, what the fuck do I do? And they typed it into YouTube, and then my fucking mug shows up. That's exactly what happened.
And you're like, hey, guys, so this is how you keep the Xbox, whatever I said.
Right.
And you plug it in like this.
Yep.
Oops. Hopefully that won't break.
People like that shit.
I do. I want you to do it now. I want you to do it.
Nobody cares about that now. There's too many other people doing that. No? And back then, there wasn't that many people. You know what it was? Back then, there was no YouTube monetization. So even though that video got 2.5 million views, I didn't make one penny off it. But I really only made those videos to promote Cheap Ass Gamer. Like all those videos at the end, there's some sort of outro about Cheap Ass Gamer. And basically, websites, blogs at the time, they really liked showing YouTube content because it was an easy post for the blogger. Right. He could embed a video and write a paragraph or two, and that's a post.
Right.
And
so we do on New York Post nowadays, Instagram. They use or Twitter.
It takes up a lot of space, and it takes people are on the site technically reading it,
right,
looking at it, and it worked out great for me because I was, they were putting those videos on every game blog, and so all those videos got a lot of views. But I wonder, I was thinking about this the other day, what if they had monetization back then, and I was actually financially incented to make those videos? I would probably be not just I'd be probably a different personality right now. Because those people probably get fucked up. I'm thinking those people who find fame on YouTube, I think it probably fucks them up a little.
Dude, okay, so is Ty at school yet? Is he still there?
He can't hear.
All right, I'll speak softly.
He can't hear you anyway because I'm wearing headphones.
I'm kidding. I'm making a joke. Shit, okay, go ahead and break the whole image, all right? So anyway, everybody, you guys can you hear me? I'm just gonna keep it. No, anyway, I'm thinking to myself about a YouTuber that I follow for edibles, recipes.
Okay. Yeah.
They make edibles, right?
I'm familiar with the concept.
And she has great ones. I'm talking about, Skittles, gummies,
Make your own Skittles?
sugar. Well, basically, you take a uh, you ta- take
You
a
melt
tincture.
Skittles. You take
No,
Skittles? Oh, no, you
no,
don't take
take a
Skittles?
tincture and you dropper it
Onto
onto
the
the
Skittles.
Skittle. So it's a very concentrated tincture. Anyway,
That's not really making Skittles. That's putting
no,
weed on Skittles.
yes.
That's like saying I made weed cookies and I bought Oreos and then just got liquid weed and put it on cookies. Anyway, I'm
Well,
sorry.
it depends on your process of isolation. Let's not get too sidetracked because I get into talking about things that aren't interesting to other people for too long. So I'm thinking to myself, like, she's got views. I don't know if she's buying views or whatever she's doing or advertising her stuff, but she gets views. She got popped up to me. I follow
Sure.
a lot of those people, and she's one I kept on to because she's got good quality content, which means she's making it a career because she's reinvesting in her production materials, editing, etc. So
Right.
fast forward, I see an advertisement on her thing for OnlyFans. And I'm like, what? I was like, I don't remember which one OnlyFans is. I think, is that the one for the voicemail? Do you leave a voicemail?
It's not.
I was thinking, I'm going to text you. I was about to text you. I was like, what is OnlyFans again?
Right.
And I was like, oh, right. He's going to tell me to Google it. So I was like, okay.
Good man. You do know me and listen to me.
Nice stuff. I delete the thing. I'm like, man. I was like, oh, wait. I'm acting like my mom. So I said, wait a second. I know what fucking OnlyFans is. So I click on it and he's like, it's all the businesses there, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's me. I'm not judgmental in any way.
Yeah.
But doesn't bother me. And if she's got an audience and there are some that she can transfer into something, everybody's got to make a living. My thought was like, this must mean YouTube life, Instagram, that social influencer life. If you don't got big bank in your back pocket, like Olivia Jade, my preferably called OJ,
Right.
it's a feast of famine because the views must have dropped off at some point because you don't open up your business when you could just cook in the kitchen. You don't just say, hey, let me take off my pants too. Right?
Sure. Yeah. No, I think it's hard to make. I think it's very hard to make a living on YouTube. You have to really have millions of views for all your videos. And
seriously, and
yeah.
it's got to keep happening.
And the only reason I was getting those types of those numbers back then is because they were getting featured on popular blogs like Kotaku and stuff like that. And eventually, like they stopped doing stuff like that. And yeah, so I'm not going to get 300,000 views on my video if it's not on, Joystick or wherever.
I tell those people jump back on. Come on now.
Get on it. I'm not even a partner anymore. I lost my partnership.
Oh.
I have to remonetize. People need to watch this video on YouTube a lot.
Yes.
Just keep watching it over and over and over. All right, I also want to talk about, because we didn't get to talk about this last week because it was just coming out. I want to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, yes, we need to talk about
But I only watched the first episode.
Okay, we'll keep it to the first episode. I can give slight highlights for a second episode because we might have some people watched it today.
Okay.
But you tell me what your thoughts on first episode was of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I really liked the action. I thought it looked like they spent a few bucks on that.
Yeah, that flight scene, man. My pulse was racing. I was like, this is what I want to see in a film.
I was surprised how much murder Falcon committed in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
But why does that offend you?
No, I was just surprised.
But why is it surprising? He is a soldier. He's always had a gun. He's never had a boomerang or a frisbee.
Because you don't see it in the Marvel movies. You don't see him really shooting.
Is
he shooting people? He's shooting people and
he goes like this and they shoot from his wrist.
But is he actually hitting people or is he G.I. Joeing them and like they're jumping out of the planes or something after he blows up their plane? You know what I mean?
Captain America, Winter Soldier. Check that out. Probably some of the best fighting. Captain America series, in my opinion, MCU-wise, top. Better than all of the rest of their films. It has heart. It has a character arc. We care about the people, and we forget about Cap's superpowers. He still feels like us.
That's a good angle.
Thank you very much. And Winter Soldier is a great example of Falcon shooting every motherfucker he comes in his face. He's
yeah. That's like me in Pistol Whip VR, except we only have one gun in that game.
So I cut you off. I got too excited. Tell me more about your Falcon.
Good action. I'm interested. I like the Winter Soldier part. Like he's trying to get amends for all the horrible shit he did. I like that angle. I know I mentioned this a lot on social media. I actually got a retweet from Gene Park, the Washington Post video game columnist.
Okay.
So that was big, very big for me.
What did he say? What did he retweet? Because I might have to face palm both of you like double.
Yeah, it was. I wrote that the most unrealistic part of the show was Falcon not being able to like string $2 together, like not to get a loan, not to be able to get a loan, or not be able to like fix up that shitty boat. Like,
yeah,
I understand like they're trying to make well, maybe I don't know what they're trying to do, but maybe they're trying to make a state about race and how hard it is for people of color to get loans, which I totally agree with. But the reality is this guy is a fucking Avenger.
I'm holding back my laughter.
Do you disagree? I mean, he's an Avenger. He could do an OnlyFans. You could make a bank on OnlyFans, like no problem. He could be a Twitch streamer. I'm talking about worst case scenarios here. Very, just above that, those worst case scenarios, he could have a car dealership sponsorship, a local car dealership. I'm sure would be happy to have Falcon doing TV commercials. The wings could pop up. Yeah, come on down. We got everything. I'm not saying he's going to be the wealthiest guy around.
No.
But what I am saying is he could be pulling in 7 figures a year.
Okay, so now I completely respect your perspective and your thoughts. I love it because it gives me an opportunity to wax poetic and help enlighten my fellow man.
I love it. I love it too.
And I take it back. I'm not going to face palm the post writer. I know you understand I'm making a joke. I would never suggest that about the man. I'm glad that he watched the film or the show, and I'm sure that he is open to evolving his thoughts too.
Yes.
Scenario, the setting, really.
Yes.
The show takes place, a few months after the blip, correct?
Yes.
After Endgame.
Yes.
Falcon has been disappeared for 5 years.
Got it. But him and like several billion other people. So it's not like some isolated incident. Go on.
So think of it this way, okay? Growing up, I used to be thrilled when I had like a white friend in the car with me when we were driving at night. Because
yeah, of course, yeah.
I would treat it like it's not so much like off target like in an MMORPG, but more like, well, you could see this guy isn't afraid of me, so maybe police officer, you could let go of your weapon. He's white too,
right?
And he's not afraid.
Right? Look, I'm white friendly. This is the evidence.
Exactly.
You're a cop. You want evidence? Here it is. Although I maybe kidnapped this guy, and you don't know.
You never know.
He's glued to the seat.
I'm one of those black guys.
Wait, go on and tell me how Falcon can't string together $2. Go on.
He has been blipped away for 5 freaking years.
Understood.
On a soldier's salary, running on the run with Captain America. They were criminals, international
Understood.
criminals, because after the Sokovia Accords, they did not sign on. If you remember, Falcon accidentally helped lead to the crippling of War Machine.
I remember that. They flew into each other. Boom. Falcon was texting on his phone and wasn't looking where he was going, and boom, right into War Machine. Millions of dollars in damage to both of their machines.
That's not what happens at all. You obviously do not watch this. It is probably the wrong aspect ratio.
He was signing up for OnlyFans on his phone.
He needs to shave a little bit more if he wants to do the OnlyFans route. So listen, he gets blipped away. Endgame happens. Yep. Right? Tony dies.
Yep.
Captain America dies. No one else knows any of this. Falcon is just a soldier who now needs to be pardoned by the president. There is no celebrity that is as big as you describe.
Really? Because the guy wanted to take selfies with him. He seemed pretty excited.
He was going to tell him no. That's what I really wanted to talk to you about, because you get lost. I didn't tell you want to see you get lost.
Okay.
I feel that some audience members get lost in the bigger picture and forget about the hidden story, because they're speaking not to you. They're speaking to someone like me who's black, who sat on the other side of that desk at the local bank trying to get a loan, who should be able to. Right. Based on my job or whatever, but I don't have a loan history because this is my first credit card, or what specific scenario happens differently for other cultural backgrounds.
So it's also a metaphor in a way.
Metaphor for
not really a metaphor, because it's exactly what It is what it's supposed to be.
It is an
But
example of.
It's an example. Right. That's the more accurate word. It's an example of reality.
Well, in a way, he's taking the selfie because he knows he's going to tell him no. He's doing the whole interview while they're talking. That whole scene, he's
Right.
doing the screening. So did Tony leave you any money? He's trying to find out, is there any money in your world that gives me an excuse to tell you yes? That's why they didn't go to a national bank, because the national bank will only look at paper and say no. They're hoping that local bank will know their father's history of being in the community, and that sometimes can be equity with a small local bank because they know you're not going to uproot and leave.
All I know,
the brand of the restaurant can get them some money if they sell it. I'm just saying from the professional aspect.
I hear you. All I know, that's fine for the first episode, but by at least the third episode,
yes,
Falcon needs to have it like a G Fuel sponsorship or something, at least like a NordVPN, something, at least like a call to action type compensation. Someone's going to be, because as racist as people can be,
That's not racism, though. That's just not racism.
Right.
The bank guy isn't racist. He's just operating in the system.
Right.
The system says you need to have this stuff, even if you're a veteran. It's also talking about the veterans' plight because
he's still got income. He said he's got income, and he's got the
but they need a loan that's not justified by they need like millions of dollars probably for that boat. Yeah. Boat's expensive.
Falcon could pull it together. Falcon's a smart guy. He knows there's people out there he could make it happen, and he better make it. He's gonna make it happen. I got faith that he's gonna make it happen.
I do too.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna figure it out. And it's probably not going to involve murdering people. Hopefully, it's something like something conventional, like doing sponsorships, or I know that's like not interesting to watch maybe, but it's more realistic.
Maybe he can be a character in the next Grand Theft Auto.
He could be doing like the best commercials.
Like Fortnite. What's that game they put Marvel characters in?
Fortnite.
Yes.
He could be in Fortnite. He could be doing great commercials for airlines, like the airplane is in the commercial, and then here comes Falcon, and he's like, hey, like I don't need an airplane because I'm Falcon. But you're not Falcon. You need this. You need to get aboard Delta. Is Delta even still an airline? I don't know. Delta. Fly the friendly skies with me, Falcon. People will seek him out, is what I'm saying. People are looking actively to find celebrities that they can give money to sponsor their shit.
However, like the real world,
yes,
the celebrity experience has a difference between color lines. Let me think. Who just passed? Prince. Okay, he didn't have a will.
Right, that's weird.
Not really. Guess who didn't either? James Brown.
Right.
You could kind of go down the list of African-American celebrities,
right,
who you would think, based on your formula you're saying, would have it all figured out. But no, because it ends up happening differently. So I think I could see where you're coming from in terms of it not being explained necessarily to the traditional MCU audience. I think they're really working to diversify their cast for this next phase. I think a lot of the characters that we're seeing in these spin-offs are going to come for young Avengers. Namely, Wanda's children are in the Young Avengers actual comic series. Falcon's the Hispanic soldier that was assisting him in the beginning. I describe him that way because I can't remember his name. In the beginning of the episode, I believe he's going to go to become a character that becomes a Young Avenger, Falcon's buddy in the comic series.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they're doing some setup and they're working to make it diverse to continue their mass appeal. So I think that's why you're seeing some of these, what you call in the diversity and equity world, like the hidden identities, where, like me, I look like I'm African-American, but my family's from South America. So yeah, I might think I'm African-American, but not North American. I'm like South American, African, whatever. It gets complicated.
Sure.
Where they look at you and they might want to say he's just some white guy, but no, he's like a white guy from Long Island. So that's a different, like he probably got an M16 somewhere.
Actually, several years ago, if you want to know what people really think, there was a Reddit. There's a Reddit called HAPA,
Okay.
Okay.
How do you spell that?
HAPA.
Okay.
No, or Hafu. Hafu or Hapa? I forget.
Oh, hafu.
Hafu maybe.
Oh, for Japanese.
Hafu, sorry. Hafu. And it's for people who are, thank you. It's for people who are half Japanese and half something else. And somebody posted a picture of me and Ty together. It was like something. They took it off my Twitter, and they basically they feel like half Japanese and half other people have difficult times assimilating in Japan. They get bullied a lot. And that's what they talk about, stuff like that. They talk about that on the Reddit. Anyway, they were analyzing this photo and they were trying to figure out where I was from. And they're like, one guy was like, he looks like a Slav. And like another guy's like, I think he's, they thought I might have been half or something also.
Right.
And they're like, no, this guy's like, he looks like a Slav, I think. And the Slav guy was right, I guess, but.
He looks like a Slav. I love it.
Yeah, you can Google that. That's around somewhere. Like I tried to comment on it, but you can't comment on the thread anymore. No, I just like they think the comments close after a certain amount of time.
For those wondering, hafu is how they describe a half Japanese, half a different race person in Japan. Hafu.
Yeah, that's the term. It's just half, but how a Japanese person would say it.
Yes. Interesting.
Yeah.
But anyways, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I saw the episode today because, unlike my partner, I prepare because I know.
No, I have to watch it with my family. Unlike my partner, I care about my family, and we do things together as a unit.
That's G unit,
right?
Cheap unit,
C unit.
No cheap, go. You got to call it cheap unit.
All right, you can call it that. How was the second episode with no spoilers? Don't spoil anything. Does Falcon make any money in the second episode?
He dies in the beginning.
Okay. But he has a big life insurance policy and his sister can fix the boat.
Exactly.
And then the series ends.
Oh, man. Has the snap made you think about your financial planning priorities? Call 1-800-BULLSHIT for your life insurance quote.
How was the second episode? Was it good?
Oh, right. We're talking about the show. It was awesome. I loved it, man. I thought it was great. It's a mini series. So
it's only 6, right? 6 episodes?
It's 6 episodes, I believe. So I think we only got 4 more. I like the arc that we're building in terms of getting to the meat and potatoes and the titular characters and seeing them behave as we remember them. That's what I enjoy. So I like the pacing of it. And I like that it continues to develop, hidden identity stories because it speaks to me as a childhood comic book lover. I've been waiting all my life for characters to actually talk about my story instead of having to try to imagine what the life is like to be a white version of this character who doesn't have the problems that I have. But still put myself into that mindset because as a comic book lover as a kid, you're looking for these people to inspire you to get past your bullies, to get past your challenges. So for the kids out there growing up right now, I'm glad that they can find a character that fits their, life and their reality and puts them into it even more.
I kept looking for Slavs. I couldn't find any Slavs.
Evidently the Slav. No, Wanda is a Slav.
Oh, right. Sweet.
Yeah, so don't worry. We got representation, bro. And as usual, you got the first spinoff. No, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Married to a fucking robot, and she gets the first spinoff.
And she got more episodes.
I'm gonna let you finish. Dude's got. I'm just saying, Falcon should have had that shit. Dude's got like wings on shit. He doesn't got no powers. He's got loans. He's got money problems. Still shows up.
Only 6 episodes.
6 episodes.
Can't even give him a whole show.
Short too. I mean, seriously,
right?
A green robot. Seriously,
right?
Seriously.
And it's two superheroes. It's Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they still only get 6 episodes. All right.
Plus we got Biden, Harris. Come on now. 2021, people. It's not a game no more.
Before we go, I want to talk about
where we going. I don't want to go anywhere. Talk to me some more.
No, we're talking more. So before we go, we're going to talk about the Suicide Squad trailer that just dropped.
Oh, yeah.
The reason that we need to talk about it before we go is because I need you to tell me who all the people are in the trailer.
Oh, shit.
Because I only knew King Shark.
Oh, fuck.
And Captain Boomerang and Harley Quinn.
Okay, let me think to myself.
They had a
Okay.
guy with like a helmet on and 2 guns. There's a
I
lot
forget
of
his
guys with
name.
2 guns.
Yeah.
I noticed.
Yeah, there's a lot of
That's
guys.
a theme.
Okay, so Colonel Flag is the guy with what looks like the Teeny Bopper T-shirt. He's got like the gun straps. He's from
Yeah.
the first one. Flag is the leader of the squad. Okay, you know Harley, the guy with the hat, the helmet. I forget his freaking. It's like
Who
Captain or
who's
ah,
Peacemaker? Somebody's
he's
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. I
That's
believe.
Peacemaker?
I believe so. He's Peacemaker. And he's just kind of like the crazy guy who will, he wants to fight for peace. And the way he does it is by landing a nuke and killing everybody. So we did it. We stopped the bad guys.
Right.
But he killed everyone too, accidentally.
Oops.
Oops. So he's kind of weird that way. What's the guy? Deadpool? Not Deadpool.
Deadshot.
That wasn't Deadshot.
Deadshot's not in there?
That wasn't Deadshot.
Oh.
Deadshot's not in this one. Deadshot was Will Smith in the
Right.
first one, right?
Right. Who's the
have him
guy with
back?
like the lenses all over, or like the little colored things all over him?
With the looks like he's in pajamas?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know that guy. Dot Man? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know any of these people.
And that's what makes it good. Suicide Squad is a relatively long running series in comics, DC Comics, where the whole idea is they're disposable. So you need a bunch of people to die every single episode of Suicide Squad because they are the Bell Rev prison, which is where you have like the Supermax for supervillains in the DC world. That's where they go, and Amanda Waller find somebody who's a throwaway to go take care of the alien, who this one looks like it looks like Starro. I'm not sure. It looks like Starro. Are you with me? You lost me. Am I with you? I can't
Starro?
tell.
I don't know who Starro is.
Okay, I couldn't tell if my computer was frozen or not.
No. I was thinking Starro.
Starro, in that trailer, there's a big starfish at the end that looks
Okay.
like probably the pseudo big villain. They're probably giving a tease, and the real big villain is somebody after that, or Starro needs to be killed twice, whatever. Starro is like one of the original villains from, I think, beginning Justice League comic books or Superman villains from like a long, long time ago. And basically, that looks like the villain that they're going to be fighting in this one. And the guy, I didn't know he was Deadshot. I thought it was a different name. I thought he was a Bloodpool or something like that. Or
Oh, yeah. That sounds familiar.
yeah,
Blood something.
Yeah, because just from a production, you're not going to take Will Smith and completely make it impossible for him to come back and replace him with Idris Elba unless they have Idris Elba locked down to do a Deadshot film. I mean, it's Idris Elba. You're gonna just switch them out and then not have a plan to keep at least one of them for sequels because they can lead their own film.
What is going on behind you?
It's some type of windstorm.
Okay, this one. Is that the Suicide Squad coming to get you?
Tempest.
The guy in the pajamas is Polka Dot Man, according to Dr. Meowers. And then also Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
The other guy.
Now, what's that other? There was a film with Vin Diesel, was it? Came out in the DC world. Superhero. Came out towards the beginning of lockdown, so it might have gotten ignored.
Oh, God.
Really good film.
I ignored it. It was good?
Really good. Surprisingly good. And I think he's a DC person, but he might be Marvel. It might be a Marvel character, but it was one of those where they kept it long enough arm length that you know it's in the universe if you know about the comic book, but they never connect the characters.
You said it was Sylvester Stallone?
No, Vin Diesel.
Oh, Vin Diesel. Sylvester Stallone's the shark, the voice of the shark. King Shark.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
King Shark. The character's name is King Shark.
Right. Oh, right. So Vin Diesel was Bloodshot. The movie's called Bloodshot, right? I remember Wombat talking about it on the CADcast, and he said it was pretty dumb.
Bloodshot's... You're watching a comic book film, and you're going to judge how...
Maybe he didn't say it was dumb. I don't know what he said. I don't remember what
comic books. Listen, I leave my reality mind at the door. But at the same... Yeah, Bloodshot, it's like nano machines, I guess. And if you might either think that's real sci-fi or fake sci-fi. I don't know where you fall on real versus fake sci-fi.
I'm fine with nano
film.
Machines in movies.
I'm going to text it to you. I thought it was good to watch as an action film. I wasn't looking for a comic book depth or anything. I thought it was fun.
All right.
But yeah, man, Suicide Squad, I think getting James Gunn on that one was the biggest score before the Snyder Cut release for DC, because I don't know if you're familiar with the James Gunn whole saga thing.
Not really. Oh, well, no.
No. He did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
He got canceled.
Oh,
by
right. He got
Marvel.
canceled on Twitter, right? For his old Twitter posts, or no?
Yeah, but by Marvel, not so much by Twitter. Marvel
Right.
said they fired him from.
I remember that.
From
Guardians.
what's it called? Guardians of the Galaxy
3,
because
I
of
think.
old Twitter stuff where he's trying to make dark humor.
Yeah.
Like stern stuff, like stuff that we say on here that I hope people understand it's a joke.
Right.
And so he left and he went to do Suicide Squad's sequel. This one. He didn't do the first. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Because I feel like I'd rather laugh at Suicide Squad characters being stupid than Guardians of the Galaxy characters being stupid in similar format.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I always make sense when I'm talking to myself.
You do. Well, one last thing. I said one last thing, but it's actually one more thing I want to talk about because I'm planning on watching this series or this movie, and maybe you'll watch it, and then we can talk about it next week. It's called Fake Famous. It's on HBO. It's about they basically see if they can just create an influencer, like a big influencer. So they have auditions, and then I don't know. That's all I know about it. Supposedly it's really good. So we're probably going to watch that over the weekend.
I'm going to check that out. That sounds like my whole game plan.
Oh, Dr. Meowmer says he didn't like it. Ben Gilbert liked it. I don't know. I feel like I trust Ben.
Oh, yeah?
But we'll find out.
Ben didn't like Coming to America. You didn't like that, did you?
I didn't watch it. I mean, I watched 20 minutes of it, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that the joke was him saying, like, the main joke was that he was calling his son a bastard the whole time. Like, that's not particularly funny. Like, that's humor for people who don't want to write a joke.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's not fun.
It's not fun.
No. The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Right. Yes. Okay. Let's wrap it up. I think it's time. It's time. The wind is like busting through your apartment. You need a Go XLR. You need to buy a Go XLR Mini.
This is after, so everybody watching, he told me to get this piece of shit.
No, that's fine. You can use it with that. You plug the Go.
What is a Go XLR Mini? What is this? What is it?
Go XLR is a device that you plug your microphone in, and then you can add compression to it. You can add noise gate to it. You have sliders to control various like audio things. That volume.
I like a lot.
$200 or $250. Okay. Check. Go to Sweetwater. It's on $50 off. $200 on Sweetwater.
Do you have a special affiliate code we can use?
Just fucking buy it. I don't care. Just buy it for you. It'll be good for you. You like it. You'll sound good.
Yeah, maybe. Man.
All right. Let's do we need to remind, if you're listening to this in audio form, come watch us on Twitch. 3:00 on Fridays.
Yes. Where on Twitch?
Cheap Ass Gamer.
You suck at games. You suck at games.
I suck at plugging. Cheap Ass Gamer. And I don't know, that's it.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at ProperModPod, ProperModPod. We love you guys. Peace.